W204CU 88.7 in Findlay, and soon to come at 90.9 FM in Fostoria and 89.7 in Van Wert. So, but all those two last stations are only going to be possible through the support of our listeners and our donors, okay? So if you believe in the ministry of Catholic Radio and the evangelization efforts that are involved with that and the catechesis, please donate to us today and consider making your best gift to 888-287-0655. That's 888-287-0655. And there's other ways that folks can give too, aren't there, Kim?
Absolutely. If you prefer to donate online, we've got lots of options for you. You can go to holyfamilyradio.fm, or you can check out the Holy Family Radio app. And finally, you can text the word GIVE to 419-969-3255, and you'll get a link that'll take you directly to the portal where you can pledge that online gift.
That's right.
And now's a great time to do so because we have some matching funds on the table. So your dollars can be essentially doubled. We have some donors willing to, essentially double whatever it is you choose to donate. So that's a way to make your, $50 become $100 out of somebody else's pocket.
That's right.
So give us a call now and take advantage of those matching funds, 888-287-0655.
Now, throughout this Spirit Drive, we've done underwriter recognition, and this hour we want to highlight Kuhlman Auto Sales off of near Miller City. They have been a underwriter for the last couple of years. I want to thank them so much for their support here at Holy Family Radio, and again to thank Brookies. We've gotten lunch from them, some pizza and breadsticks and all that. And not only fed us, but also fed a lot of the folks that are in our studio now. It's really nice that we have the studio that we can be in because we've got a number of people that we would never be able to fit into that trailer.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I was just thinking that with the number that we have out there right now. It was pretty tight in the, we could call it a green room, with a version of a green room that we had out at the trailer out in the country there. But that was also the area for the volunteers to work, to take donations, and it was very crowded. And sometimes we could even pick up the noise on our microphones from time to time because it would be so loud, and they were so close to us. And
very close.
Yeah, we've got maybe, I don't know, triple, quadruple the space we had in the trailer.
Oh, easily.
So the studio's bigger. It can afford a greater number of guests in here with us. And the green room / volunteer area is significantly bigger and affords lots of room for visitors, so come on out and give us a visit. And there's also running water, and we're really excited about that.
Big thing right there. That's for me it is, at least.
If you want to know what Deacon Jeff and I are most excited about, we love this nice studio, but we're so excited about the running water.
Amen to that.
Yeah. So how about you get excited? How about you get excited to pick up that phone and give us a call at 888-287-0655.
Now, Kim, we have to go because we've kind of been really busy. We need to get the bell out, okay? I want you to get that bell out. We're going to give it 3 distinct rings, okay? Because we have 3 new donors that have joined the Holy Family Radio family in the last hour and a half. So go ahead and give that ring. All right, I love it. I love to hear that bell ring because new donors mean new listeners. New listeners means that there's growth and we're reaching more and more people. So thank you to those folks who stepped out in faith to offer a gift to us. And we promise to do the best that we can with that in terms of spending and keeping everything going and growing here at Holy Family Radio.
And believe us, we are just as grateful for, our quote-unquote old friends. Those of you that have been donating for years and years. Some of you have been donating since the very beginning, since the station was not even on the air yet.
Right.
We are deeply, deeply grateful for you. Please keep up that partnership with us. We really can't do it without you. We're tracking apostles. Apostles are those
That's
who
right.
have donated $1,000 or more, and we always strive for at least 12.
Right.
Because there were 12 apostles, but we're really happy if we can make that number larger. Can you give us an update on where we're at there, Deacon Jeff?
We currently stand at 8 apostles so far.
Wonderful.
So we got plenty of time to get another 4 to make that 12.
That would be great. That would be great. So call now because the phone will get busier and busier throughout the day. 888-287-0655.
All right, it's time now to get to our next guest.
Super.
It's our pleasure now to welcome into the studio someone who's been a guest with us before, but we haven't had the opportunity to talk with him in quite some time, I don't believe. So I'd like to welcome to the program Rodney Schuster. He's the Executive Director of Catholic Charities in the Diocese of Toledo. So I'd like to welcome you, Rodney, to the program.
Great to be here. And as Kim was saying earlier, I echo the new studio and the running water and the beautiful space that you have. And I think that's just a testimony to the gift that Holy Family Radio is to our diocese, and that you use the gifts that you get from donors and are great stewards in helping to expand the signal, to reach more people throughout the southern part of our diocese. And so, from, just my simple presence of being here, not, a little while back and now today, and to see what you've done with the gifts of your beautiful donors, it's just a testimony again to the great work that you're doing to help people. So I just encourage all of you out there to please consider a gift today. If you've given a gift, consider a second gift, increase the gift, because this is so important. This work is so important within our diocese, within our world, to carry out the message of the Catholic faith, and a message that we can trust, and a message that is true, and a message that might even inspire our listeners. So please, please, please call, go online, text, give to this great share-a-thon once a year. I mean, you aren't getting mailings every day, every week.
Yeah.
Once a year, they reach out to you in this listening audience. So all of you out there, support it. And, as Deacon Jeff and Kim have been sharing, they're hoping to even carry the signal further and to open more opportunities for people to hear this good news. So please, 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 take this time right now. Don't hesitate. Don't pause. Don't wait. Call right now, email right now, text right now to support this valuable ministry in our diocese.
Well, thank you for that testimonial. It really is, humbling to be able to kind of do this type of work, and it doesn't feel like work. And I've talked about that before, for me at least. It's not work. This is what I'd love to be doing right now. And so that number to call is 888-287-0655, 888-287-0655. So while we do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of evangelization, but there's also a lot of heavy lifting that we kind of help out with Catholic Charities and all the ministries and things that you guys serve. Why don't you give our listeners a kind of a background and a roundup of what Catholic Charities means here in the diocese?
Yeah, gladly. Thank you. So I've been in Catholic Charities since 2010, and it'll be 13 years in June. And it's just amazing to me, the team that we have every day is going out to help and make a difference in the lives of the people we serve. For those of you who don't know, we are a separate 501c3 nonprofit. We are part of the diocese, but we are separate. We have a separate finance department, development department, communications department. We are a standalone. In the diocese, we're thankful the ACA helps support our ministry, about 12% of our budget a year. The other 88% we have to go out and seek and find to help us serve 40,000 people a year at Catholic Charities. And we're blessed. We have offices in Mansfield and Norwalk, Sandusky, as well as Toledo. And we're looking to expand out to the western part of the diocese. As a matter of fact, that mirrors not only Catholic Charity strategic plan, but the diocesan strategic plan. And that's one of the goals, that we would have a greater presence throughout the western part of the diocese. So that's one of our initiatives. One of our blessed priests, Father Andrew Wellman, we have a conference call with him and a couple of his parishioners next week to see if Brian might be an opportunity. We've had some meetings with the pastors in Lima, as well as in Napoleon. And so we're just kind of seeing if there's a need that they're seeing from a parish perspective that is not being met within those communities. Catholic Charities is going to see if we can have a presence there. Our presence in Sandusky is relatively new. 6 years ago we started there, and that was a beautiful partnership with the parish and the parish staff, the community, and continues to be. Holy Angels, where we are housed there, I mean, they take care of us like probably like they take care of you here at Holy Family Radio. I mean, they help us with technology, they help us with furniture, coffee, sometimes donuts, and they're just so glad that we're there to help, people in need in Sandusky. And so really that's our role, is to help people. And our ministries look, it's funny, there's Catholic Charities throughout the country, and the old adage is, if you've seen one Catholic Charities, you've seen one Catholic Charities. And but we are blessed. Our Office for Life and Justice, we have a jail and prison ministry where we are going behind the bars to help, those, that are incarcerated with their faith journey, help them at where they're at right now. We have an Alpha program that's been very successful in the jail and prisons. And of course, nearby here at Oakwood in Lima is where we have a presence, as well as Stryker and Mansfield and Richland. And so we are present. Deacon Ed Ireland heads up our jail and prison ministry and does a fantastic job. As a matter of fact, I have to share Deacon Ed. When COVID was upon us, we and volunteers could not go into the jail and prisons. But what also was happening is they were releasing people quicker from the jail and prisons. And so Deacon Ed realized that, and when they were released, he realized that they didn't have food, they didn't have a place to stay, they didn't have jobs. So as any good person in ministry would do, they said, well, we're going to help them. And so he has helped hundreds and hundreds of people get furniture for their housing, help them get jobs, give them food on a weekly basis, and help them get a security deposit or rent through an off-the-streets program that it's new at St. Joe's Maumee. So he is just, and then, so now he's back in the jail and prisons, but he's still doing this ministry, and he's got about 50 plus people. And I said, Deacon Ed, this is not healthy for you. I mean, we can't abuse our ministers, so we're looking to see if we can get some additional help. But that's a beautiful ministry that serves a pretty big footprint in our diocese. Our Respect Life office, of course, we just wrapped up the 40 Days for Life, the spring campaign. We had the March for Life in D.C., Kevin Jory and Allison Stump and Kirsten Packen, who heads up our Project Rachel program. We recently added a Joseph ministry to help men who have maybe been part of an abortion with a child and try to reach out to them. So Tyler and Kirsten are our husband and wife, and they do a great job in that ministry as well. And then we have, some of the basic ministries that people probably best know us for. Okay. For example, like in Toledo, we have Helping Hands of St. Louis, where we provide up to 300 meals a day, hot meals a day, breakfast or lunch. We have a food pantry where people come in and get food. And then at the old church, the old Helping Hands Parish, we have a clothing center that, people come in and get clothes. So, and all of that's free, and all of it, we serve anyone who comes to our doors. There's no, sometimes people say, well, you just serve Catholics. We say, no, we serve people in need, people who need food, clothing, and shelter. And so that is just great work. And, if anybody wants to see God at work, I just invite you to come to Helping Hands of St. Louis, because on any given day, you could have 50 volunteers there. And you could have up to 500 people there being, getting services, where they include folding shelter. And it looks like it's just like this peaceful chaos of people coming in, getting help. And the other thing is our staff has been there a long time. And so they're seasoned veterans. They know the people that are coming in. And our volunteer groups, we have volunteer groups lined up, actually a waiting list to help prepare the meals and serve the meals and help in the food pantry, help in the clothing center. So it's beautiful to watch. And anybody who comes there, I've probably given, hundreds of tours of people there just to share with them what they're doing. And they leave there going, this is just amazing. This is amazing. So that's one of our ministries, and that's in East Toledo. Also, we have La Posada Emergency Family Shelter. So families who sometimes are in their car or their van on the streets, have been kicked out of a family member's house, come to us, and broken and busted.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we're all broken and busted, but that's where we just, give them the love of Christ. We welcome them in and say, there's no judgment here. There's no condemnation. We want you to know you're safe. We want you to know you're going to get food, clothing if you need it. And as you get settled and your kids get settled, we want to start, learning from you what your circumstances have been.
Mm-hmm.
We aren't for a second going to think that we've been in your shoes, but we want to try to help walk alongside you from where you were when you arrived at our doorstep today, and hopefully to a place where you can become independent, have a job. And if there are some barriers that are in your life, that we can help you overcome those. And of course, we've got Bible studies there and try to help people, introduce them. And, that's one of the things people say, well, what do you do with evangelization? We said, well, when people are hungry or their baby needs diapers or they need a place to lay their head, that's not the time to say, where are you at in your faith journey? Now, when they're a little bit more settled, when they feel we can start having those conversations and we can learn more about them, then we ask them, where are you at in your faith journey? What have you done? And sometimes they're like, it's like, no. We're, again, no condemnation, no judgment. So that's a La Posada Emergency Family Shelter. We also have emergency rent program. And what I love about that program so much, and Brian Rome, one of our longtime staff members, 23 years, passed away last month of cancer, the 3-year battle of cancer, and he was just such a heart and soul of our ministry. But he was the one that helped start a rent program, and what I love about that program is when people call us, they say we need help, otherwise we're going to get evicted, and we say, okay, well, we'll help you, but we want you to attend our financial education workshops, because we want you to learn how to manage a budget. We want you to learn the difference between wants and needs, because ultimately we want you to never have to have this, need this service again. And it's beautiful because they as you start to listen and understand and then share what it's like to have a budget, you can just see the confidence grow in the people who are receiving the support, and they say, we can do this. And we said, yes, you can do this. Get a calendar out. Here's your needs, and it's electricity or gas or water, whatever those utilities are. It's food for your kids. It's clothing, and then these other things can, whether it be a cell phone or smartphone or a computer, these things can wait, but you can save up for that. So that's a ministry. I'm overjoyed, because one of the philosophies of Catholic Charities is that we don't want to just be a handout. We want to be a hand up. And we view that through the lens of Jesus Christ, in that he's given us all gifts, abilities, talents, skills, and he wants us to use them in this world to make a difference in this world. So we try to, help people in their journey, whatever form or fashion they arrive at us and say, there's an opportunity here. We can't do it for you, but if we can walk alongside you and help you get to that point, we'd love nothing more to see you succeed. So that's our one of our programs. We have a permanent supportive housing program where people that have disabilities, we help them get housing for them and their kids. And again, we have intense case management there. And our goal is to, again, help them if they're capable. And not everybody's capable, but if they're capable, get them in a position where they no longer need assistance, government assistance. And we've had some tremendous success stories. And I just want to interject real quickly too, that the people we're serving, so many of them, when they get over the threshold, when they succeed, they come back and help. They come back and serve us. Maximo's a great example. He's somebody that was at our La Posada with his kids twice. And his first time he came in, he had an attitude. I don't need this. I don't want this, and blah, blah, blah. And, I'm going to keep doing what I was doing. And he was doing gang stuff and selling drugs and something. Well, Maximo, there's a better opportunity here for you, but if you got all the answers, you go. And then he came back a little bit more humble. And he said, I want to listen now. And he's working full time. He and his kids will come over at Christmas time and decorate La Posada with Christmas ornaments and the trees and everything. We'll have cookouts. They'll be cooking out. So, again, an example where he is so grateful to Catholic Charities that he wants to come back. And we see that quite a bit. We also have the Miriam House in Norwalk, which is a women and children's shelter. Many of the women there are domestic violence victims, and oh gosh, it's just it's hard. It's I hear the stories, and you just say, my goodness, what where's God in this? And and hopefully they see God in us to say, man, we you're safe. And we also have in all of our ministries we have what we call. It's called either crisis navigation or community emergency services. But basically, if people call us or visit us and need help, we don't provide all the assistance, but we know the communities that we're in and can get them help. We can say, hey, have you checked these folks out? Check these folks out. So we're a support and a source of referrals to people. And one of the best compliments I think we received at Catholic Charities is Father Jeremy Miller, who is a pastor at Corpus Christi, the University of Toledo Parish. He was in Mansfield as an associate at St. Pete's, and we had a little gathering, and he got up and spoke about Catholic Charities, and he said, I've been in a couple different places throughout our diocese, and he said, it's a blessing to be in a community that has a Catholic Charities. He said, when anybody comes up to me at St. Pete's in Mansfield says, I need help, I just tell them to call Catholic Charities. Whereas when I'm in a community where I haven't, or there's not a Catholic Charities, it's like, I'm not sure where to go, where to support people. So that's beautiful. We have a furniture ministry, which I never thought we would have. That's in Sandusky, and that's thriving. And again, that's we got the Knights of Columbus involved there at the parishes in Sandusky, and my goodness, you just say, oh my gosh, how are these people doing all this and getting the requests and getting them out, and then the community supporting it and getting mattresses. And then in Mansfield, we have Hope Food Pantry, and then where people come in similar to Helping Hands of St. Louis. And we also have a ministry called our Adult Advocacy Program, and that's helping the elderly, 55 and older. Often the courts will come to us and say, this person has no one in their lives, and will you be the guardian for them? And so we have staff and volunteer guardians where we help upwards of 150 people, and I visited them, and many of them are elder care centers. And the blessing is, I have mixed emotions because it's sad for me that they don't have anyone else, but I'm just happy and grateful that they have Catholic Charities or our volunteer guardians there to be there for them, to support them, to help them in their decision making. And so, it's just such a blessing to be at Catholic Charities. And our mission is to make real the love of God to anybody who comes to us. And so we strive every day. And I have to tell you, during COVID, it was such a challenge. Like the Adult Advocacy Program, we could not see our clients. Helping Hands, we couldn't have the dining area open where there's fellowship and community and camaraderie. We gave them food, but we had to have it, handed out separately. But our two shelters, La Posada and Miriam House, continue to operate and put themselves in harm's way. They were masked. They were trying to do everything to be safe. But if a family needed shelter or a mom and kids needed shelter, we were there. So we've got just an unbelievable staff that I really think in the ministry, and Kim and Deacon Jeff, you talked about it, they're in it for the right reasons, and that is to be a disciple of Christ to those who come to us, and to help people where they're at on their journey. And it could be spiritual, it could be financial, it could be mental health, whatever that is just to help them in a way that's loving and caring. And so I've been blessed to be a part of it now for 13 years. Blessed that we have a bishop who is ready, willing, and able to help us whenever we need him. He's visited all our ministries, and so it's always great having him there. And we've got a great board of directors, and it's we have our challenges, but praise be to God, we're able every day to make a difference in the lives of people. So it's been great.
No, that's quite the overview.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean,
No, it's great.
But it's great. I mean, it's comprehensive view of what Catholic Charities does and tries to accomplish, and and it speaks to a lot of stuff. But the first thing that comes to my mind is, do you find it overwhelming? I mean, you're the executive director, and you've got 19 counties, right? And you've got multiple facets of people that need to have help. How do you deal with all that?
Yeah, well, I take it to prayer, take it to adoration, take it to daily mass, and say, all right, God, what is your will for me today? What is it you want me to do today? What is it that you can take care of today that I can't? But it's been hard for me at times when I go to a deanery meeting and the pastor's like, oh, is there any chance you could just do this or do that? And I'd love to say we can do everything, but we know that's not realistic. We know that it takes, okay, what is it we're going to do and what are we responsible for? And so, there are times when I just think, gosh, I wish we could do more. But I think a good example where that is starting to happen is when I first got two Catholic Charities, a lot of the priests, when I go to deanery meetings, is like, Catholic Charities used to provide counseling, marriage and family counseling. Would you ever do it again? And I just shared, well, my goodness, I don't know what that business model looks like, and the responsibility of that, because first of all, you want to have competent counselors, but then you have to have counselors that are uphold the truths and the teachings of the Catholic Church. Well, that's a heck of a responsibility. I said, so I mean, I would never say no to it, but I would need to have money to hire somebody who knows what they're doing, to hire somebody who could vet the Catholicity to make sure that they're going to uphold the truths of the Church. And so we kind of struggle with that for many, many years. And finally, through the diocesan strategic plan, I mean, that's one of the initiatives, the Living Christ Capital campaign that's going on right now, is how can Catholic Charities not only have a presence in the western part of the diocese, but then also be a resource for all parishes. And that's a part I was like, oh, gosh, I don't know. Well, as God would have it, Kathy Didion, who's pretty well known in our diocese as a really awesome Catholic counselor for marriage and families, we've been working with her over the years to see how we could maybe help grow that. And through her network, and she's part of a lot of Catholic counselor associations, we've now established a network of counselors. We've got one out of Mansfield, Sandusky, Fremont, Bowling Green, and Toledo. And then she's also, at the invite of Father Adam Hertzfeld and St. Michael's in Findlay, he's given her free office space, and she's got 2 interns there. And so the thought is that through the Living Christ Capital campaign, we can help provide her support. And that support might look through the lens. And again, Catholic Charities would just be, we're not going to be doing counseling because, again, that just freaks me out. But we would help in the way of, like, she was saying, at some point we want to help build our internships to have, our diocese been an invitation. So perhaps, being at Franciscan University of Steubenville or other, Catholic universities that can do that. And then she could use help in the scheduling of appointments and insurance claims and stuff like that. And so we have already put on the diocesan website and Catholic Charities website the list of the Catholic counselors that have been vetted. And so now we want to say, okay, how has that impacted their responses? And then, what can we go do next? So long term, we want to get to the point where we could have a network of competent Catholic counselors throughout our diocese. So no matter where somebody is, no matter where a priest is, that they can say, oh yeah, just call, such and such over here, and they can help you out. So that's something, you ask what keeps me up at night. It's like, well, okay, Lord, we got to give this to you, kind of like Holy Family Radio. We just give it to you, and we know you'll take it wherever you want it to go. And I have to, sometimes I'm not a very patient person, and so my, that virtue is tested in me. But I'm like, God's got this, and the more I can just say, Lord, you just, let me know your will, let me know what and when I should do. maybe through others or whatever, you'll take care of the rest. So yeah, so it can be overwhelming, and I think too, especially with COVID, the part that I care deeply about the people that serve at Catholic Charities, because they give so much of themselves. And things that keep me up at night is if they're having some struggles. It could be health, it could be other personal reasons, or just it could be their ministry, because it's so overwhelming and the number of people they're serving. And we've had a couple instances where I told our team, I said, you can't take on any more clients. You can't, and I will be the person that says no unless that entity who's bringing those clients to us provides more funding to get more professional staff, because this is not good for you.
Yeah.
And in ministry, I think, and you probably both know, there's such a desire to serve the Lord, which is awesome, but not at the cost of what is most important, family. And we can't have that be a something that gets destroyed or impacted because of ministry. So it's that balance of, we love your enthusiasm, we love that, and we're so thankful that you are committed to this, but not at the expense of marriage or family falling down. So it's sometimes a balance that I try to, you want people to go and do things, but it's like, okay, but there's a limit here, and so we've got to figure something out. And sometimes, I say, I'm here for you, and if I need to say no to a funder, to somebody's doing referrals, I will do that, because I know that's what's best for our ministry and best for you. So yeah.
Very good.
Maybe it's in the same sphere of what you answered. So if your answer is the same, just certainly say that it's what I said before. But what is the greatest, in your mind, the greatest unmet need within your sphere of operation and work at Catholic Charities?
Gosh, Kim, that is a great question, a big question. I would say where we are seeing right now the greatest challenge in all of our ministries is just folks dealing with mental health issues. And it seems like these issues are more prevalent, number one, and more serious. And, even to the point where there's been instances where we've, contacted the local mental health boards, and they're like, yeah, there's nothing we can do either. And we're like, well, yeah, we got to do something. I mean, we don't want to just, kick people out or cast them aside. And so I think it's an overall challenge within every community we're in. And then sometimes it becomes real to us, like in our shelters. And it's like sometimes our staff go, I've never seen a situation like this where they're so severe, and then trying to help them, or even at our soup kitchens. And so I think it's real. And again, I think too, there's a correlation. There's a correlation, because we know the evil one seeks nothing more than to destroy, starting with the family unit. And I think too, the loss of faith in many, if they don't have the source, and I always share this, when people come to us, we need to ask them the question, where are they at in the faith journey, and help them along their journey if they're open to it, and introduce them to people, whether it be Bible studies, whether it be deacons, whether it be priests. Because ultimately, if we provide them all the practical help, and whatever that be, maybe, hey, make sure you're seeing a psychiatrist or a psychologist, and if you're on medication, stay on those meds. Or if you have an addiction, make sure you're going to AA or NA, or whatever that is, to make sure that you continue to do that. And or if it's like, I haven't worked for a while, well, okay, what do you do well? What would you like to do? What's your experience? Let's get you set up so you can work and stay committed to a job. But all those things are necessary. But for us, the most important thing is do they have a relationship with Jesus Christ? Because every single one of us on this planet are going to encounter hardships and challenges in our lives. And I just know, for me, without my faith, I don't know where I would be. I don't know. I might be homeless. Who knows? But so if we don't do our job at Catholic Charities when people come to us to help them in their faith journey and hopefully open their relationship with Christ, then we haven't done our job, because they're going to encounter, when they leave us, these challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have faith in our Lord and Savior, we know that he will be there for them. The gentleman I mentioned earlier, Maximo, who had been at La Posada, who came to us twice and now has got a full-time job, his faith is on fire. He loves the Lord, and he loves the Lord with his whole heart and soul, and he's teaching his kids that now. And then he's also teaching it through ministry by, like I mentioned, volunteering and doing cookouts and decorating. And he said, without God, I would have been probably back here a third time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, has he had challenges? Sure. Mm-hmm. But he's got that foundation.
Yeah.
And so I think, Kim, if there was more of that in our world, and if we could, and I know we know who wins in the end, but we also know that Satan is trying to destroy. And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of destroying going on in our culture, and if we could help, and that's what Holy Family Radio does. If we can help people in their journey and to either reignite their faith so they have that, they might be better equipped to deal with whatever issues they have. Now, mental illness is mental illness, but without faith, you have nothing other than medication. So, so anyway, that's a long answer to your question, but I think that is one of the greatest challenges we're seeing in all our ministry, is just the increase of mental illness issues and the severity of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Listeners, we're drawn into our discussion here with Rodney Schuster, so we've forgotten to give the...
get some contact information. Support Holy Family Radio.
That's right.
Give us a call at 888-287-0655. That's 888-287-0655. We've got matching dollars on the table, so don't miss out on the opportunity to have your dollar become $2. Whatever amount you're able to give is the right amount for you, but during this time period, you can essentially double that on somebody else's purse. So give us a call at 888-287-0655. If you prefer to donate online, you can do so by going to holyfamilyradio.fm, by utilizing the Holy Family Radio app, or you can even text the word GIVE to 419-969-3255, and you'll be sent a link that you can follow to the online donating portal. It's Friday. It's crunch day.
It is. We're coming down to the last 4 hours, I believe, right? You've got 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 4 hours left in this spring spirit drive. This is the only time we interrupt the programming here on Holy Family Radio to ask you to partner with us in this mission that is Catholic Radio. It is our baptismal and confirmational call to evangelize the lost and evangelize those in our family, evangelize everybody that you meet with the good news of the gospel, so that they might then become part of God's church and the fullness of the truth that is the Catholic Church. So partner with us in that, would you please? Join the family at 888-287-0655. That's 888-287-0655. We have donations that come in from parishes St. Michael's in Calida, St. Anthony's in Columbus Groves, a couple from St. John's in Glandorf, St. Peter and Paul in Ottawa. I want to thank all of you for your generous donations. And, I've seen some folks walk in, they're dropping off some checks and some money every so often. Love to see it. And remember that if you just call in, if you want this free book called Men, Women, and the Mystery of Love by Dr. Edward Sri, someone's offering a free copy of that. If you want it, all you have to do is call in and request it, and they'll drop them off here, and you just come by the studio sometime and pick those up. That kind of dovetails off of our discussion with the fertility and women's health. So if that's of interest to you, just call and request a copy, and we'll make sure that happens for you. So we're going to continue our discussion here with Rodney Schuster, Executive Director of Catholic Charities in the Diocese of Toledo. So, it costs money, obviously, to do this. You kind of alluded to the fact you get, 12% of your funding from the diocese itself.
Right.
So that means you got 88% then to cover.
Right.
We have 100% for ourselves.
Yeah, God bless you.
But that means you have to raise money. So how do you accomplish that? And how can maybe we partner with you to help you raise awareness?
Yeah, I think it's just letting people know the work that we do. And I would say, first of all, to pray for our staff and pray for the people we're serving. That's item first and foremost. But the second is, I drove down here, and of course I love being down in, as we call it in Toledo. This is Catholic country, man. This is where the Catholics are. And so you all better start calling in here and make sure today is the day, because by the way, before I leave, I'm giving a donation, so I want to use those matching gifts. But man, please call here to support this valuable ministry in our diocese. But so we've been fortunate over the years. I think when I arrived at Catholic Charities, and we're still working at it, is just to let people know the work that we do. Because sometimes there's confusion, how are you associated with the diocese? And I had the great blessing of serving on Bishop's senior staff in my role, and it is a great blessing because we are blessed with an awesome bishop who I know is going to be coming up here on the airs. And boy, listen, Catholic country down here, when Bishop Thomas is here, just make sure you let him know your presence by opening your wallets and supporting this ministry. But so we do a lot of things too, where we'll have events. We have a Friends for Life event coming up on May 8th. Kevin Jory and his team, the Office for Life and Justice. We have a great speaker. Hannah is going to be speaking. She was she's a mom who's pregnant, and she was diagnosed with cancer. And of course, the doctors told her to abort. She said, "I won't do that." She had her child, her son, and she is so far in remission and doing well. And again, she's going to share her story. It's fantastic. She's from the Archdiocese of Detroit. So that's an opportunity if you want to come. Go to our website, CatholicCharitiesNWO.org. You'll see an opportunity to sign up May 8th. It's not too late. Our event will be at Perrysburg Hilton Garden Inn. Okay. But yeah, I think Deacon Jeff, I love it when people learn about what we do, how we serve. And if there's an opportunity to volunteer, I know we have prayer warriors from here in Putnam County that come up to the abortion mill up in Toledo and pray for the 40 Days for Life, March for Life. I think in jail and prison ministry, we have folks that are volunteering with that as well. So I think if people want to learn more, I just want to share, and then if people realize that there's a potential need that's not being met, it's part of the diocesan strategic plan. It's part of the Catholic Charity strategic plan. We want to have a presence in the western part of the diocese, or south or west. So I encourage people to reach out to me, and there's no conversation I won't have. We always look to see if it meets our mission, vision, and core values. But so however we can partner with you and support you, gladly do it. I feel blessed to have been involved in Catholic radio here in our diocese, and this is my second share-a-thon here, and just love to see the progress that's been made. But it's only been made because of the folks that are out there listening, supporting Holy Family Radio. And I just encourage you. Without support, and of course, God asks us. I mean, God is so, He gives us so many blessings, and I think He always wants us to do something with those blessings. And it was interesting. Somebody told me the other day, they said, Rodney, you don't have to send me a thank you for every donation. And I said, yes, I do. I have to be grateful for your support. And they said, well, it's not that much. And I said, do I have to remind you of the widow's mite? I said, every donation makes a difference. And I would never discount whether it be a penny or $1,000 because it's from your heart and you want it to help make a difference. And so however we can partner, I'll gladly do that, and I'll gladly share the good news of Holy Family Radio, and that it's so important today in our culture, in our world. It makes a difference. It makes a difference, and we can't discount that. And I just want those who are listening out there, if Holy Family Radio was not in the airs, gosh, what would it be like? Where would you turn to? There's a lot of radio stations, but there's a lot of radio stations that don't have much good.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to turn what is good. We want to fill ourselves with what is good, what is Catholic, what is holy, what is right, what is true in supporting our Catholic faith. And if Holy Family Radio goes away, that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that affects those who are solid in their faith. It affects those who are perhaps wavering in their faith or having desert moments. And it affects those who maybe have never been Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
So all of you out there, I just encourage you, support this one time a year. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful ministry, and it changes lives. So get on your phone, do your text, go on the website, but now's the time.
Wonderful. Thank you.
It's so nice to hear the enthusiasm from you as well. We certainly have it. We certainly believe in the value of Catholic radio for just and you said it so well. Those that are really excited about the faith, they have a lot to gain from it. Those that are walking through a desert right now or wavering on their faith, and then those that have no faith at all.
Yeah.
Everyone is in a position to benefit from the value of Catholic radio. So, thank you for your passionate testimony on that. Give us a call, 888-287-0655. We've got lines available for you.
That's right. We have extra volunteers in the studio for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got matching funds on the table.
Mm-hmm.
So now is the perfect time for you to call 888-287-0655. Of course, you can always donate online. You probably know those options, but it's holyfamilyradio.fm, the Holy Family Radio app, or by texting the word GIVE to 419-969-3255. Before long, we're going to have the bishop in here.
That's right.
So,
looking forward to that so much.
Call before he gets here so you can listen to him.
That's right.
Yeah.
Get to download our mobile app on your mobile phone, and you can listen wherever you're at. You can even watch us there too. Mm-hmm. So don't forget about that. So, well, before we let you go, Rodney, I want to thank you so much for being here, for taking time out of your day, this long drive to come down to God's country, right? Catholic family land, whatever you might want to call it, right?
Catholic Disneyland.
Disneyland, yeah.
Well, I thank you for the invite, and thank you both, Kim and Deacon Jeff, for your work. I think sometimes in ministry, we're not in it for thanks or gratitude, but it's good for sometimes, I think, for people to say thank you. So thank you both, and for the volunteers that help make this radio station, not only help it where it's at today, and sustain it where it's at today, which is necessary, but to grow in the future and carry out the good news. Right. So thank you.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. All right, folks, that's your cue now to call 888-287-0655. That's 888-287-0655. Imagine if you weren't hearing my voice telling you those numbers. Imagine if you couldn't hear Al Cresta. Imagine if you couldn't hear Dr. David Anders, who's coming up here at the 2 o'clock hour normally, if we weren't interrupting to ask you to support us. Mm-hmm. If we weren't here, where would you turn? There is nowhere else to turn to find this kind of programming.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Deacon Jeff, but you had the anniversary dinner about a year ago.
Yeah.
And Father John Riccardo spoke at that. Would you even know who Father John Riccardo is if not for Catholic radio?
That's right.
I mean,
I don't think I would.
I don't think I'm positive I wouldn't. I learned who he was, and I was really excited to go to that dinner celebration because he was going to be there. Because he's amazing. He just gives the most amazing talks. He does so many amazing things. That's just one tiny little example. That's one drop in the ocean of the value of Catholic radio. So won't you please partner with us, become a member of the family, 888-287-0655. Got those matching funds on the table? Got volunteers ready? Now's the time to call, 888-287-0655. I think we're going to go to a break.
Yes, we are.
And so that makes it an even better time to call.
That's right.
888-287-0655. We'll be back shortly.